Gonna lock her up. Lock her up. Yeah. Gonna lock her up. Yeah. Wait, some people get here. Enter. Enter, we're gonna lock her up. Gonna lock them up. Gonna lock her up. Come on, chump. Lock her up. Keep your promise. Woo! Got my Las Vegas shirt on. What else we got? Lock her up. Remember when Trump said it? If I were president, I would lock you up, bitch. When I'm president, I'm gonna lock you up, bitch. Remember that? I do. Hey, Marcus Conte reporting. Big lockup is coming. The big lockup. Bill. Is Bill behind it? Ooh. Oh. Dig it. Dig it. Dig it. I dig it. So, Marcus Conte reporting. Morning. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. The big day before the South Carolina caucus, the South Carolina primary is coming up. Excuse me. South Carolina primary coming up. And the big master debaters are getting together tonight to debate in Charleston, South Carolina to petition, to parade in front of, to pander to the blacks who just happen to live there and happen to vote. And Jim Clyburn, you know that guy? You ever heard of James Clyburn? He's the old black guy. I can't understand the goddamn words saying. Oh, like this, don't understand what the fuck he said. Fuck. They're just going to vote for Bernie. You're going to vote for Joe Biden. You don't even know what he's saying. James Clyburn apparently got all kinds of power over the blacks down in South Carolina, and he's going with Joe Biden shit sandwich. Even though Joe Biden can't win a goddamn race, can't win anything, right? But so this is. Let's go back. Let's take a stroll down memory lane. Remember 2016? You remember? And Bernie was winning. Bernie won, and then the DNC fucked him. They greased his ass. You remember these two people? You remember evil Hillary Clinton and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, right? They're trying to grease up Bernie, right? And set him up for the kill. You remember WikiLeaks? They were conspiring to get, to screw him and steal the election from him and give it over to Hillary Clinton. You remember all that stuff? Do you think we forgot about all that stuff? You think we forgot about all the corruption that went on inside the DNC and the stealing and all that? No, we didn't forget about anything. Right? This is the scene, right? So, but you remember when Trump said he's going to lock her up? Remember all the corruption? Just wait for the people to get here. Hey, everybody, come on in. What's up in the chats, man? Just what's up, Sterling Price? Thank you for your moderation. Love it. Whoa, no one is locking up Hulk. Hulk is who? The Trumpster? I don't know about that. Bernie is the bomb. Hello, Sterling. I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah, me too. What's up, Bartley? How are you, sir? So I'm just back from Las Vegas. Don't be a caucus. That's right. Don't be a caucus in the chat, man. It's an open stream, man. It's a live stream. You say it twice, that's spam. Say it once, that's a point. Say it twice, that's spam. Joe One Com Pop. I don't know what you're talking about. My stock is only down 1.5%. My stock is solid. My stock is solid. So I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, but anyway. So, oh, you're looking at the statistics. You don't want to look at that shit. You don't want to look at that shit. Just give me a second. I got to do something so I could see the chat. I forgot to set up the chat so I could see it. I forgot. Just 1 second. 1 second. Hit a couple of buttons here, because I'm very high tech, if you know what I mean. And I think we're ready to go. Okay, so now I can see the chat. Hey, Marcus, glad you're back home. Yeah, I am too. It feels good. Las Vegas is a weird place. I'll tell you. Vegas is there's a lot of that. It's like degenerate gambling. I'm not saying all of Vegas is degenerate gambling, but there's quite a bit of it going on there. And you watch degenerate gamblers, and they're kind of like they're almost like drug addicts to some degree. There's a crossover there, where there's a compulsiveness to the gambling. And you watch somebody put 400 quarters in a row into a machine and lose, and just keep pulling the lever, hoping that they win. And I love the weather. I thought the weather was beautiful. There's a striking amount of homeless people on the street. Striking amount. Strolling around in Las Vegas. I stayed mostly off the strip, off the grid. I only stayed one night on the strip at the Circus Hotel just because I got a deal there, and I stayed there, and it was horrible. It felt like 1970. It smelled. It was just a nasty old, nasty kind of place, But anyway, that was my impression of Vegas, the limelight. But going off, when you go off the grid and you start to meet the young people that were there touring through on the Bernie Sanders tour, doing they were doing the Bernie Sanders thing. They're trying to get their guy elected, right? And those people were wonderful, and that part of Vegas was deeply interesting. It takes a while to digest because I just got off a plane. And going there, right? Some big fat lady, right? She's sitting next to me, right? I was so crowded. I was crunched into my chair, right? And the lady's like, I had a fat lady next to me because the plane was sold out, and her blubber was like on me the whole time. When you're sitting next to somebody, I don't know if you live in a city and you're on the subway or a bus, and you can feel the heat of the blubber pushing into you. It was just so fucking foul, man. I had to stand up for 5 hours most of the time, man. Standing up in the back, talking to the help, and then she threw up. She fucking threw up and stunk out the whole shit, man. It was just a horrible trip there. But coming home was cool. Coming home was mellow. So anyway. Hey, I'm getting a weird message here. This is so is Bernie Sanders going to lock up Hillary Clinton? I don't know. What do you think? Do you think that Bernie Sanders is going to lock up Hillary Clinton after what they did to him? Trump didn't do it. We'll take a look back. Let's look at what Trump said, and we'll look at what Bernie may actually do. Bernie supporters are nearly as crazy as the MAGA hats. No, I don't think so. Bernie, there are extremes because they've fought a long fight. Right? Bernie people, mind you, are not fucking around. They got cheated. Trump people didn't get cheated. Trump people got it all handed to them. Right? So Trump is Bernie people. When you see that dedication and that persistence and that determination to win. That's because they got fucked. They got cheated, and they're very, very hyper vigilant right now. They don't want to get cheated against. So they're all paying attention. So, do you remember when the good Donald said this? Right, now, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton is a criminal. Right? We all agree on that. Nobody disagrees with the fact that Hillary Clinton is a very foul human being. She lied to Congress so many times. The same thing that Roger Stone did, Hillary Clinton did 10 times over and worse. And she has a fraudulent foundation that is a money laundering operation where money comes in and favors go out the back door based on her political position and the fact that her husband happens to be the president of the United States, the ex-president of the United States, who never loses value in America. No matter how far out, no matter what you did, if you're an ex-president of the United States, you're royalty. Till the day you die, you're never going to be convicted of any crimes. You can do whatever you want, and you're gold. You're golden, right? And that's her husband. So Hillary Clinton is a criminal, right? There's no doubt about it. All the things that she did, and all the bodies, the bodies. How many bodies? Seth Rich, Sean Lucas. How many bodies does Hillary? How many bodies was Foster? Remember Foster? Remember the guy Foster? They killed him. So many dead bodies, Hillary. But remember when? So Trump saw it. Trump said, "We're going to lock her up. If I'm elected president, we're going to lock you up, Hillary." Remember when he said it in the chant? Lock her up. 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 Remember when the crowd was screaming, lock her up? And people believed Trump, that Trump was going to do it. He was going to lock up Comey. He was going to lock up McCabe. He was going to build a wall. He was going to build a wall to keep out the Mexicans. He was going to keep them out. He was going to lock her up and keep her out. What happened? Where are the Trump people? Why are you not pissed? Is Bernie Sanders going to lock her up? I don't know. But let's listen. Let's listen. Let's see what's going on. Tulsi might lock her up. Yeah, that's true, right? Tulsi Gabbard, right? Trump just, Hillary just smeared Tulsi as a Russian asset, smeared Bernie Sanders as a Russian asset, laughing about it, laughing. But let's talk about Trump for 1 second. Remember when Trump said this?
Talk about apology. I think the one that you should really be apologizing for, and the thing that you should be apologizing for, are the 33,000 emails that you deleted and that you acid washed. And then the 2 boxes of emails and other things last week that were taken from an office and are now missing. And I'll tell you what, I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception.
She's laughing in his face when he's saying it. Hillary Clinton is laughing in Trump's face on the stage. And what did he do about it? Nothing.
Never been anything like it. And we're going to have a special prosecutor. When I speak, I go out and speak. The people of this country are furious. In my opinion, the people that have been long-term workers at the FBI are furious. There has never been anything like this, where emails and you get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails. And then you acid wash them, or bleach them, as you would say, a very expensive process. So we're going to get a special prosecutor, and we're going to look into it, because you know what? People have been, their lives have been destroyed for doing 1/5 of what you've done. And it's a disgrace. And honestly, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Secretary Clinton, I want to follow up on that. I'm going to let you talk about emails.
Because everything he just said is absolutely false, but I'm not surprised.
Really?
In the first debate,
Wow, you remember when he said it? Did you believe him? Did you believe your Trumpster, right? Because that's what he ran on. He ran on a policy of cleaning up the swamp. He's going to drain the swamp, and Hillary Clinton was leading the swamp. All right? Now what happened? Why did the Trump people forgive him? What else did Trump run on? On the great economy? I'm going to fix the economy. Healthcare for, we're going to have the best healthcare. We got nothing. We got nothing but crumbs, right? And Hillary, see, Trump, that's why the Democrats, the Bernie people voted for Trump, for no other reason than the wrecking ball. That Trump represented the wrecking ball, that he was going to go and he was going to lock up Hillary Clinton. He was going to, he was going to drain that swamp, and he was going to be, okay, I give Trump lots of kudos for calling out the fake news media on their, fake news, right? Trump gets, 10 citations, 10 awards for that, 10 trophies, 10 little gold stars for flushing out the mainstream media. But guess what? Trump only calls out the mainstream media when it benefits him. When it doesn't benefit him, sometimes he'll stretch. He recently said that the Democratic Party is cheating Bernie Sanders again, and that's to his credit. It's not just because they are potential running against each other, and Trump said that. But to some degree, Trump's greatest achievement, in my view, is that he has called out the fake news, and he has deflated CNN, MSNBC, and to some degree Fox as well. And just the Washington Post, he's willing to do that, but he didn't hold true to what he said right here. And Hillary Clinton laughed in his mofo face. Right? And that's just the reality of it. Here's a Trump rally. This is after the fact. He said it was all just fun. It was all just a ploy. It was all just a way to get elected. That's all it was, man. It didn't mean anything. You thought I meant that? Did you think I actually meant that? Like I was actually going to lock her up? That's not how politics works. You just say shit. You just say whatever you need to say to get elected, and then when you get elected, you just go ahead and you enrich yourself. You cut the taxes on all your billionaire friends. Everybody laughs their ass off. They got a couple of $1 billion. They buy a couple of more, a lot of shit that they don't need. They piss on top of the poor people's heads, and that's what politics is, right? That's the status quo. You run for office, but we got one guy. Sanders is not about that. Does not seem to be about that whatsoever. He seems to be about more just giving back to the regular people. So watch Trump have a rally, and they're chanting, "Lock her up."
Today we made history, and now the real work begins. That is the second reason that I'm here today. I'm going to discuss our action plan to make America great again. We're going to discuss it. Although we did have a lot of fun fighting Hillary, didn't we? Okay. Right?
We had fun. That's all it was. It was fun. It was just a game. It was just a slogan. You're going to clean up the corruption. And now Hillary Clinton is out on the stage bashing Sanders, bashing Trump, bashing Tulsi, bashing everybody. Threatening to run for president again, out on a book tour, making all kinds of money. Lock her up, huh? Lock her up.
And by the way, the people are continuing to pour in, so let them come in.
And that says it all. The people are continuing to pour in, and let them come in. That's the whole shit right there. Trump, the actor, the great actor of our time, the great gambler of our time, risked it all, really, by calling out a very powerful, corrupt politician like Hillary Clinton on the stage and embarrassing her. Because if Trump would have lost, he may have faced serious consequences from a Hillary Clinton presidency. I think we all agree with that. Hillary Clinton would not be gentle, would not be kind, would not be forgiving. Hillary Clinton believes in Banana Republic, and she would have went after Trump with every ounce of her being. Not up front, but certainly in the back. And Trump would have ended up possibly like a Jeffrey Epstein, framed, disgraced. That's probably what would have happened if it would have went the other way around, because Hillary Clinton is a fucking monster, and the fact is that Trump let her out the back door. Trump called it out. He saw the corruption, and he let it go, and that's just the reality. Here he is in his own words saying, it was all just a joke. Listen.
Trump is seemingly already going back on one of his campaign promises. You'll remember he promised to appoint a special prosecutor to investigate Hillary Clinton for using a private email server that happened during one of the debates. Well, listen to what he said at one of these thank you rallies just last night.
Lock her up.
Before the election. Nah, we don't care.
Yeah, if you couldn't really decipher that, there were.
Watch it.
That plays great before the election.
That plays great before the election.
Nah, we don't care.
Nah, we don't have to do that. Nah. That plays great before the election. Right there in front of a crowd at Grand Rapids, Michigan. Back in December 2016. Right? Is after he wins. Has no idea what he's in for in terms of being a president. This is during Obama's lame duck session where he's the president-elect. And he's saying his greatest campaign slogan was to drain the swamp and lock up Hillary Clinton, and provide a special prosecutor to investigate her. And what did they do? They turned around. He's the president. They turned around and they investigated him because he sat on his hands and he didn't do anything. That's who's running. That's who's running against Bernie Sanders. Here's Hillary Clinton in her own words.
Opening up in the new Hulu documentary about everything, including her former rival, Bernie Sanders, saying he was in Congress for years. He had one senator support him. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. So now that's Hillary Clinton stabbing Bernie Sanders in the back. Stabbing Bernie Sanders, the good senator from Vermont, in the back. Should we forget about that? Is Bernie just going to let it blow off? Now, Bernie believes in justice and equality. Do you think that a Hillary Clinton is going to be able to squeak into a Bernie Sanders administration? I don't know. He did back her in an election. Right. He did back her in an election. That's inescapable. When Bernie was cheated, he backed Hillary Clinton, and that is a scar. That's almost a scar for life. That's like a deep gash that everybody sees. You know, you look at it and say, "Oh, Bernie Sanders, he bowed to Hillary Clinton. He's got to look at his scar. He's like Scarface. They should give him a scar right here. Like every time you look at Bernie, you see that scar of supporting Hillary Clinton. But was that just politics to stay alive himself? Was Bernie Sanders threatened? Was Bernie Sanders' life threatened? The lives of his grandchildren, possibly his wife? The things that they would have done if Hillary Clinton were elected, or even not elected, because she's so powerful because of who? Because of Bill Clinton and the Clinton machine. Would Hillary Clinton, I forgot what I was going to say. Would Hillary Clinton have done to Bernie that's what I want to say. Would Hillary Clinton, if Bernie Sanders didn't roll over, with her momentum and all her power running for the White House, with people thinking that she was going to win right to the last minute, would Bernie Sanders have suffered a similar fate as perhaps a Jeffrey Epstein, a total disgrace, some kind of teenage hooker placed in a hotel room and a confessional? The same thing that Hillary Clinton probably would have done to Trump if Trump would have failed. But I don't know. I think it is very possible. But the point of it is that Trump never did anything whatsoever to stop Hillary Clinton. Just tweeting about it is not enough. And in his own words, it was just politics. He didn't mean any of it. Wall, he doesn't give a shit. He hasn't said wall. When was the last time you heard build a wall come out of Trump's mouth? Not lately, not much, because it's a farce. It's a farce. What? Keep out, immigrants? There's other ways of doing that. There's immigration reform. There's laws. You enforce the laws of the country. You don't have to build walls. Maybe, a nice wall, it's not going to hurt anybody, but he didn't do it. Even a $5 billion wall at a bare minimum, he couldn't get it done. Because he couldn't get it done. So let's watch this.
Boston Herald, Mrs. Clinton, I wondered when you look back at your life in a 4-part series like this, what's your dominant mood or or reaction to it all? And do you think the Democrats are really going to nominate a socialist to be their presidential candidate?
Do you think the Democrats are going to elect a socialist?
Nominate a socialist to be their presidential candidate.
Well, first of all, when I look at this,
This is what happened when you let a criminal out the back door.
I'm going to wait and see who we nominate. I will support the nominee, and it won't surprise you to hear me say that I think that it's imperative that we retire the incumbent.
Because she's banking on a brokered convention. That's what's going on. That's what she thinks. She thinks that Bernie Sanders is not going to get the majority of the vote, and that because she is Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton and the Clinton machine, and they could, orchestrate perhaps with Michael Bloomberg to pay off the 700 superdelegates to push a shit sandwich over the finish line in front of Bernie Sanders. Cripple Bernie Sanders, the winner, now appears to be on his way to winning. All right, cripple him, tie up his legs, and push the shit sandwich over the finish line. That's what Hillary Clinton's banking on. So that's why she's able to say that, and she's a liar. If Sanders is the nominee, she'll just come out and say, "I'm not going to," she'll run in the background trying to stop him. Is what'll happen. What else we got? So the mainstream media, the kitchen sink strategy. We got to wait for it, right? Bernie Sanders it's hard for the mainstream media to pin Bernie Sanders as a racist. That's a tough one because Bernie Sanders was on the front line in the 60s. There's images of him being arrested, by the police for working out and helping out at civil rights marches with blacks. He handcuffed himself to some black lady so that she wouldn't get dragged away, some shit like that. It's all real. And he has Nina Turner, one of his main surrogates, black as black comes. Cornel West, the black intellectual, sad to say, you got to say they're blacks. But the idea to paint Bernie Sanders as a racist is obscene, right? They had Chris Matthews had to walk back his comments. Chris Matthews, the MSNBC political hack, had called Bernie Sanders, said something about Bernie Sanders being a Hitler sympathizer, that this is the rise of the Third Reich. Bernie Sanders winning Nevada is the rise of the Third Reich, and he walked it back. He apologized for saying it. But how ridiculous. So is Bernie a racist? No. Is Bernie a Russian asset? It's so ridiculous. Bernie, the smear is Bernie's had his honeymoon in Moscow. That's false. Bernie Sanders did not celebrate his honeymoon in Moscow. Bernie Sanders was, in fact, married to Jane Sanders. And Bernie Sanders at the time was the mayor of Vermont. And he went on to, he did an exchange with some Moscow town in Moscow. Some kind of like a state exchange. Something about the name, I think, that there was a Burlington in Moscow. Like a sister city thing. That's what it was. And Bernie Sanders did have he's a guy who looks at other societies and other political machines, other political setups, and says, what's the good quality of this setup? For example, in Venezuela, where they tried, universal health care for all, they tried a foods program, they tried to enrich the people through gasoline and the oil that was under their feet, and that all people would prosper in the country's natural resources. And it is a wonderful idea, except the opposition to that is the corporate oligarchs, the billionaire class, that when they see that, then they smear it as it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and they sanction the shit out of the country and try to sink it. Well, for example, in Venezuela. Right? And that's basically what we have. I'm losing my train of thought because I'm still sleepless, but I'm going to try. I'm trying to voice my opinions to you guys. The severity. Will Bernie Sanders? I know you came here a little clickbait. Will Bernie Sanders lock up Hillary Clinton? I don't know. In a perfect world, he might. So this is an article on the Red Scare. Chris Matthews tried it. Is Bernie Sanders a racist? Ridiculous. Is Bernie Sanders a sexist? So ridiculous. He's surrounded by, women advocates. He advocates for women. He's been saying the same thing for 40 years. Is he a homophobe? Is he a xenophobe? Is he any of these things? No. Is he a communist? Absolutely not. By definition, Bernie Sanders is just is a newfangled capitalist who wants to give the capitalist system a reboot. It's really all it is. And every 30 or 40 years, why not? Why is it unrealistic to think that you could take the capitalist system, which is failing so many people right now, and give it a reboot? What's wrong with that idea? Why is that so tragic to correct the tax codes, to correct some of the corrupt litigation that Congress passes to benefit the pharmaceutical companies, to benefit the military-industrial complex, to benefit the billionaire class, people in the top 1% of our population? Why is it, why give all the breaks to these people, and why not reset the Constitution for the people every few years? I mean, that's all really Sanders stands for. So tonight is South Carolina. What's going on in the chat? Don't be a dick in the chat. Chris Matthews is the perfect example of what this country needs to separate itself from. Bartley McDowell, thank you very much for that. I couldn't agree more. Chris Matthews is a poison. He's corrupted by the money. How many millions of dollars a year do they pay that guy to say that shit? Right? And in the beginning, he probably meant it. That's the scary part. Probably meant it. Democrats are in panic mode. Yes. Bernie wants to be Russian. So stupid. So stupid. Bernie wants to be Russian? Why does Bernie want to be Russian? Greed destroyed Vens. See, that's what we're going to talk about. That's why we're going to let the trolls in, and we're going to look at their stuff. Not if he's still ignoring all those damn emails. There's Mark H. I don't know what you're saying. Another world view is possible. No worries. I saw it just like I would grit my teeth and vote for Ron Paul. You should back a legit chance at change. Bernie. Yeah, you should. I agree. Bernie Sanders is a legitimate chance at change. There's no chance that Sanders is going to back off of universal single-payer health care and cop out for some shitty public option. He's not going to do it. He's very firm in that. He's firm in decreasing the military complex. Although he has voted for the military budget over and over again, but he's a senator. What else is he going to do? All right. As the president, he's going to get look. And the other thing is, will the Democrats lose the House and lose the Senate? The Democrats, the progressive movement in this country doesn't have a voice in the House or in the Senate. The object is to win the presidency and force the Congress and force the Senate out. Force people like Nancy Pelosi out. That is the strategy. And they know it. The Democrats know it. But if the people rise up, then the people are supposed to represent the people and the issues that the people want, like healthcare, like college at city and state universities free, debt forgiveness. Advantages that affect them, not just the billionaire class. That's what elections are about. And that's what Bernie Sanders is bringing it back to. While Trump was screaming, lock her up, and drain that swamp, and build that wall, and the Muslim ban, and all these things that he said he was going to do and promised, Bernie Sanders is saying that he's bringing it back to old-fashioned politics, the old-fashioned politic of that elections are about the people. Elections are about, you may say it's free stuff, but it's not really free at all. What we have is a property interest in our country. And that Bernie Sanders is willing to bring our politics back to a shared interest in our country. by divvying up the rewards of the American idea. If you call that free stuff, that's not free at all. To expand, health care for all, to increase college, increase education to the college level. These are not radical ideas whatsoever. So Bernie Sanders, before we go on tonight, it looks like it just refreshed as we were talking. That North Carolina Civets, I don't know what that is, has Bernie Sanders 20 points, Biden 20 in North Carolina. They're already predicting out all the way out to North Carolina. Irrelevant at this point. What is relevant is this Harris Hill poll has Bernie Sanders 28 to Biden 17 to Bloomberg 19 to Warren 8 in the national poll. So the latest Hill national poll has Bernie Sanders a full 9 points out in front. 9 points out in front of Bloomberg, who is not going to survive. Bloomberg is not going to survive. If Bernie Sanders has to debate Bloomberg head to head, Bloomberg goes down. He's going to look like a child. Bernie Sanders is going to manhandle a guy like Bloomberg. Totally diss him. Right? So these are some of the polls going into South Carolina tonight. It is mixed. Yesterday, NBC had Bernie Sanders 20. They had Biden 27, Sanders 23. Last week, CBS had Biden 28, Sanders 23. I did see polls where Sanders was out in front in South Carolina. I don't know. The cheat could be in. It doesn't really mean much. If Bernie Sanders cuts into Biden's, if Bernie Sanders sweeps all of the young people, which he will, if he sweeps all of the progressive movement, of course he will. That's a given. But if Bernie Sanders takes a chunk out of Biden's black caucus, right, his black constituents, right, so say Biden wins 47% of the blacks, and Bernie Sanders wins 35% of the blacks, and maybe the election is close. Now, I don't know that. I don't know that to be true. I think that the only way Biden wins is if you've got a guy like James Claiborne putting his finger on the scale in some way in the background. That's what I think. So that's what we'll look for. We'll look for a little bit of cheating. But I think that if Bernie cuts into Biden's black vote, the alleged firewall, this shit is over. Because again, in the where's my map? Where's my map? I had the map up. I lost the map. I had the map up of the deep state, the deep south, right? So on this coming Saturday, we're going to see South Carolina, right? Will Bernie Sanders, I know, the clickbait. Will Bernie Sanders lock up Hillary Clinton? I don't know. And if he's an integral guy, he might just do it. He might just have to do it. Right? He might have to do it. Bernie Sanders, president of the United States, might have to take a look at Hillary Clinton and slow her down with all her corruption. It is very, very possible. It's that he hasn't said it, but then again, Trump said it and didn't do it. So look at this startling revelation from 538. Nate Silver has finally come around to being somewhat honest. Look at the odds. Bernie Sanders 2-5 that he will win. 2-5 odds, and 2-5 odds that nobody gets the majority of the vote. So Nate Silver is saying, yeah, Sanders is going to win, 2-5 odds, and that in the same odds, nobody gets to 1901 superdelegate, and 1901 delegates to get more than half a majority of the delegates needed to clinch the nomination. So he puts the same odds as Bernie Sanders not getting over the hump as Sanders winning the plurality of the vote. So he's predicting that Bernie Sanders wins and that he doesn't get over the threshold of half. Now that's still on the table because Super Tuesday is going to tell us a lot about what happens. If Bernie Sanders landslides California and they can't cheat him, and Texas. He landslides Texas. He's going to landslide Vermont, maybe North Carolina, maybe Virginia. If he landslides those places and wins some of the deep South, it mathematically at this point it is possible that Bernie Sanders can get over half, but I would have to agree so far that the odds are Bernie Sanders doesn't get a majority of the pledged delegates needed to clinch the nomination in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the DNC convention. 1 in 10 for Biden. Right? These are the odds. 2 and 5, that's almost even money. And Joe Biden, that's almost 1 and 2. Like you got to bet $2 to win one. Biden, 1 in 10. Bloomberg, 1 in 25. Elizabeth Warren, 1 in 100. Buttigieg, the same. All the others, a 1 in 100 chance. So Nate Silver is putting Elizabeth Warren at this point and Pete Buttigieg in the same category as all of the other candidates, even the worst of the worst. Amy Klobuchar, Tulsi Gabbard is not worst in terms of the numbers. He's putting Warren and Buttigieg, the favorite, the darling of the replacement for Joe Biden when Joe Biden fails. Joe Biden can't win a single election. He comes in fourth. He comes in fifth. He's getting creamed. He's getting slaughtered. Comes in second. So I like those statistics. I like what Nate Silver is doing. Why the establishment can't bank on moderate voters consolidating against Sanders. I didn't read that article, but I get the gist of what he's saying. That putting all of the shit sandwiches together, Biden, Warren, Buttigieg, Klobuchar, putting even Bloomberg, putting all of those votes together and saying that all of those people will consolidate around. So, for example, if you pick Pete Buttigieg, all of those votes would automatically go to Pete Buttigieg. Absolutely untrue. They would shift over. The people, first of all, the people that are behind Elizabeth Warren would clearly go to Sanders before they would go to Mike Bloomberg. The people that go to, that are going for Pete Buttigieg might just vote for Trump because they're as lost as Trump. And a lot of the young people will probably come around to Bernie Sanders. They're definitely not going to not vote and not get involved. They most likely would vote for Bernie Sanders. That's the thing about the Democratic moderates. They fall in line. So thank you, Nate Silver, for being a little honest. So again, tonight, I know I'm sounding like a broken record these days, but this is important stuff, man. What's going on in the chat, man? What's going on in the chat? Thank you for not being dicks in the chat. They are there to stop him. You bet your ass, ZOX. Bernie will have earned the most delegates for the Dem nomination, but they will be given to someone else in the grand display of iconical socialism for him. That doesn't even make sense. I bet $1 against 100 on Booty. Silver was laughably wrong about the last election. You're right about that. Thank you for pointing that out, Carl. I know that. Nate Silver had Hillary Clinton winning against Trump 100% the night of the election. When everybody was saying, no, Wisconsin and Michigan and Florida are going to flip for Sanders, flip for Trump. A lot of people knew that. And you're right. The point is that Nate Silver was lying then and being paid off then. And it seems maybe he's found a God moment is what I'm thinking, because I like his odds at this point. And they seem to make sense. And he may be saying, okay, these are my odds. Now, how much money are you going to pay me to change my odds? Because he's for sale. He's one of those guys, right? So here we go. In the primary states on Super Tuesday, we're looking for California. We're looking for Bernie Sanders to slaughter, wipe out, annihilate the crowd in California. Yeah, of course, in Maine, possibly Colorado, North Carolina, Texas, Virginia, Vermont. It's going to be good. And then coming up March 10, we'll be looking at Washington State and Michigan. The Rust Belt, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, upstate New York. Wisconsin. All right, that's the shit. All right? Whoever wins there wins. And we might have to wait all the way out till March 10, and we'll see what happens in Michigan. And as goes Michigan, will probably go Wisconsin. To some degree, they're a similar voting bloc. And we go out a little far. By March 17, we get Ohio. So we'll have seen Super Tuesday, and then we will have seen Michigan and Ohio by March 17. If Bernie Sanders sweeps in these areas, there's no question about it. If he wins in Michigan and he wins in Ohio, there's really, and then it comes all the way out in April, we get Wisconsin, and then a little further out in April, all the way at the end of April, we'll see New York. We'll see Pennsylvania. Right? If these states break for Sanders, it's basically game over, right? Because if Sanders is the nominee, Sanders will flip Wisconsin, will flip Michigan, will flip Ohio, may flip Florida, will probably almost definitely hold Virginia, will probably flip North Carolina, right? Maybe Texas. Of course he's going to win California, Oregon, and Washington State. He's going to win the Northeast block, of course, New York, Connecticut, maybe New Jersey, too. New Jersey might just vote for Bernie Sanders over Trump. So I think it could be a Bernie bros. What's up, Vinny? They are shaking in their boots over Bernie. They really are. I agree. What's up, Sassafras? Between Bernie and Pete. Nah, I don't know. Disagree. I don't think Pete has a chance in hell right now. And I don't think he's got a snowball chance in hell of holding on to that shit, man. So back to the initial theme of this video. Is Bernie Sanders going to lock up someone like Hillary Clinton? Well, I don't know about that. I don't know. In complete honesty, I don't think that Sanders would lock her up. But I could guarantee you that Hillary Clinton does not get a place at the table in a Bernie Sanders administration. Hillary Clinton is held out. And because of the wave of progressives that are going to pour into politics with the Bernie Sanders presidency. Remember, if Bernie Sanders is the nominee, you're going to get a lot of these progressives on the ballot running against the corporate Democrats to get rid of them. And that's only going to intensify after 2 years. And then it's going to intensify more after 4 years. If Bernie Sanders is still, mentally able at 83 years old to carry on another semester as president, it's going to continue. And whoever takes the throne, that momentum of progressive politics in America is going to continue until health care for all is a right, until drugs are decriminalized and we empty out the jails, until education is guaranteed to the college level at city and state universities, until we expunge the student debt to get people out of debt. Until those things happen, Bernie Sanders' movement is going to continue. And it's going to continue to replace the current corrupt Congress, the current corrupt Senate, until it happens. So, Marcus Conte reporting. Will Hillary Clinton go to jail? That really is the theme, man. Bernie is that bitch. Oh, come on. Bernie's nobody's bitch. Bernie's nobody's bitch. Well, if Clinton and Bloomberg ran in 2020, they would definitely win in New York. Well, that's interesting. I think that if Hillary Clinton re-ran, she would win New York. She would win California. She would win the same state she won the last time. And she would fail where she failed the last time, which is the Rust Belt. I just said it. The object is New York is historically blue. That's unfortunate because of the rigging in the city. But when you look, for example, at 2016, Bernie Sanders won the upstate area. In New York, we call it upstate. Anything above the city is considered upstate. There's 9 million people in the city, and there's another 11 million people in upstate. And for the most part, Bernie Sanders swept upstate, and Hillary Clinton won almost, all of the city. And that was rigged because of the purging, because of just the outright cheating that they got caught. But that doesn't mean a win. If it's Clinton and Bloomberg, they fail, It's a losing strategy. Anybody but Sanders who can consolidate the independents and the progressive side of the wing and speak directly to the working class people of this country that are struggling, that know that Trump lied, but he was the alternative to Hillary Clinton. If Bernie Sanders gets on that stage and speaks to the Rust Belt, speaks to Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and the rural New York and all of the blue states, and taps into Virginia and North Carolina and maybe flips Texas, it's a done deal. Hillary Clinton and Bloomberg and Buttigieg, they ain't gonna do that. No way. No way. Pete Buttigieg is laughable. Hillary Clinton is a criminal. Mike Bloomberg is just a money-grabbing billionaire trying to buy his way in. It's not going to fool those people. They're not stupid. Bernie, yeah, he won 100% of upstate. I agree. Bernie was Hillary's bitch. Come on. That same old theory. It's like, when do the trolls get tired? I guess they don't. I guess at some point. I already covered that. So, doubting Mantis. Bernie Sanders was Hillary Clinton's bitch in 2016. That has been said so many times already, so guess what? Removed. We removed your comment. I love when I can do that. By landmass, Bernie won like 90% of New York. Yeah, he did. He did. Hillary only won New York by cheating. That's right. Putin has Hillary by her nutsack. Putin, let's talk about that 1 second. Just briefly. Putin is, don't you get it that Russia is a fictitious enemy? They're not the enemy, they're competition. They don't fall in line with American oligarchy. They have 1/10 of the military might that we do. They're not an enemy, they're a parody. Russia is technically a parody to, the object of a fake opposition to some degree. Putin has no influence over Trump, or it's just so ridiculous, man. It's just a giant, it's just giant nonsense. How long are we going already? Am I talking too long? Yeah, we're up about an hour. We're at an hour. So thank you everybody for sharing and participating in this great democracy of ours. And to the Trump haters, I'll always be here for you. I'll extend my hand. I'm going to extend my hand to you. Reach out and touch. Reach out and touch. Touch the screen with me. Touch the screen. Trump people, I love you, Trump. Put your hand on the screen. Put your hand on the screen with me. I'm here for you. I'll be here for you when Trump fails. When Bernie Sanders is the president, he will be the president of all people. Put your hands up for me. Put both hands up for me. And Bernie Sanders will be the president of all the people, not just half the people. Not just the people that agree with him. Right? And I'll be here for you. I'll be here despite that you've said Bernie Sanders is a Russian asset and that he has 3 houses and all the nasty things you've said. And he's a Bolkovich, which you don't even know what it means, and a Russian asset and a spy and a communist and a socialist. I will still be here for you, Trump supporters. I will be here with a shoulder to cry on. You can lean on me when you're not strong enough, and you can cry on my bosom, and I will nurture you, and I will carry you to understanding that this is in your best interest, that our democracy has been saved. I will always be here for you, Trump people. I will never let you go. I will never turn my back on you. I will let you speak until you make an absolute imbecile of yourself 20 times over. Until you come around. So enjoy. Just let him speak, man. Let him speak. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini, chopping guys up, man. Thank you. I don't think they'll run third party. No, the third party is a losing strategy. Sanders knows that. Sanders absolutely knows that. Thank you, Bartley. At this point, it's not even reporting. It's just kind of stream of consciousness. Being on the ground in Nevada, it's not really my style to I made a lot of errors in that trip. I thought it was good coverage, but again, that was really my first trip out, doing that kind of coverage, and I did it my style. I approached people and talked to people and tried to find out about what people were thinking. And I missed a few opportunities because Vegas it's very flat and things are spread out, and it was hard to get good information on the ground in Vegas, because I'm not from there, and I'm certainly not connected in any way to any political party or any movement or revolution. I don't know anybody. I don't know any people. I'm objective. I'm somebody who surfs the news and spits it out. But going forward, I would definitely like to go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, see the DNC. If Sanders is the nominee, it's going to be spectacular. It's going to be very predictable. It's going to be very, very raucous in favor of Bernie. If the Democrats refuse to consolidate around Bernie Sanders, and we're going into the nomination with the idea that Bernie Sanders can be cheated by the superdelegates, then all hell is going to break loose, and that will be the event of the century, where Bernie Sanders gets cheated and the party walks out on him. The Bernie's tried and true walks out on him, and then will Bernie Sanders turn around and let it happen again to him? Who knows? But that would be the event. The next event, the next magical event would be the DNC convention. So anyway, we'll be watching the debates in a little while. It's 4:45 New York time. It's going to start in about 3 hours 15 minutes, and I'll come back in the morning. I like to sit and watch the debate. I don't want to, even at that debate party, it was very difficult to focus on the people's reactions and watch the debate at the same time. So I'm a person who likes to sit in my chair. I drink my water. I try to watch the debate. I try to digest it. Everybody should do that. Some of it's boring. You go to sleep. But try to listen to all of it. Try to watch it and listen to all of it. And then for me, I even like to sleep on it before I open my trap. I like to see what other commentators have to say about it. I surf around. I see what other people's opinions of it are, and then I engage my mouth. I like to engage my mouth before it's too late. So before I say something stupid, which I'm very very capable of. I'm very very capable of this. I'm having a problem with my software here. What is this? I don't know why I can't get my. So anyway, I can't bring you out in music because my music thing just crashed. Until I could fix that. Until I could fix that, the disco beats you're gonna have to wait on the disco beats. So Marcus Conte reporting.